The West Virginia Mountaineers have landed yet another wide receiver prospect out of next year's class. This one is ranked number one and won the Randy Moss Award, and he can go.
You are Locked On West Virginia, your daily podcast on the West Virginia Mountaineers, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
And what is up, guys? Welcome back in. My name is Mountaineer Paul. I am your host. This is Locked On West Virginia, baby. Well, we're talking absolutely more dogs, absolutely more kings. And we got a stud that's going to make his choice in segment 2 when I crack the do. But in the first segment here, we have a Randy Moss Award winner that is committed to the Mountaineers in Malachi Thompson, a 6'5", 200-pound wide receiver out of Nitro High School, right here in the state of West by God. And, you know, I'll say this. The kid's very impressive, even though didn't have a huge recruiting profile. You know, that just comes with the territory. A lot of players that said West Virginia get overlooked. Even the number one wide receiver in the state gets overlooked to an extent. But at 6'5", 200 pounds, the kid runs routes. He's crafty. And he's got some speed for his size. You'll see that on tape. It's a really interesting mix of size, route running, and some speed that I think make him. There's no doubt about it. He should be a D1 wide receiver. I'm not exactly sure. At Nitro, you're not getting the best exposure, right? So I think that's probably part of it. But let's get to the breakdown. Before we do, though, I want to say something really quick. Today was my little niece, Ellie's birthday. She turned 4 today, and I was able to go to her house and hang out with her for a while today. But I just want to say happy birthday, Ellie, on the show to you. I love you very much. Uncle Bub loves you, and she's literally one of the things in this world that just light me up. So I was really glad that, you know, I could bring her some cool gifts today. But there was a time, guys, when I wasn't able to always do that. So, it's, you know, I try to, in those moments, and even though these are small and people take them for granted every day, I can't, you know. So I just wanted to, she'll get a kick out of it. You know, she loves seeing Uncle Bub on the TV. So I'll show her this later and get a little laugh out of her. So thank you guys for indulging me there. All right. Let's get to the breakdown of Malachi Thompson, a kid that, you know, is the Randy Moss Award winner in the state of West Virginia, not to be looked down upon. He had several Group of 5 schools looking at him. A couple Power 5 schools was looking at him, but he ultimately chose West Virginia. He had an incredible year in his junior season where he had 74 catches, 1,590 yards, and 18 touchdowns, where he earned the Randy Moss Award as West Virginia's top high school wide receiver, and he was that. I think his profile overall is still developing. He's underrated and unranked on most national recruiting platforms like Rivals, 247, On 3, ESPN. But that's common for West Virginia in-state prospects. He will be ranked going forward. After they catch on to him, now that he's with West Virginia, they'll rank him. You'll see that for sure this time next year. He'll be ranked. He's too good not to be ranked anyways, as you'll see on the tape here in a minute. You know, it's kind of ridiculous that a 6'5", 200-pound kid like this gets overlooked. You know, that's why kids transfer out and go to like Tank. You know, he went to Florida, which he's a decent bit more explosive than this kid anyway. It's not a great comparison because he's Tank's 5'8" or 5'9", 5'10" or whatever. But, you know, he went to IMG Academy for a year, I think, and obviously put himself back on the map. Otherwise, West Virginia wanted him really bad. So, you know, if you look at what Rivals has said about him, they called him a big wide receiver with the good frame who is a crafty route runner and a knack for getting open. Scouting takes on this kid, everybody from Keenan Cummings to, if you look at Nitro high school coach Boone McKinney, you can look at what people over on X has said. There's multiple different opinions on this kid. Keenan says 6'5", 200 pounds and long route running ability. Called him crafty as well. Excels at getting open on both deep and intermediate routes and uses his frame effectively to high point the ball and has reliable hands. Also said he has smooth athleticism and the ability to make plays against various coverage in 7-on-7 setting, adding that he's added good weight to his frame since early evaluations. And here's another thing. He dominated at camp settings. And at 6'5", 200 pounds, you're going to do that if you're any good, right, at all. Size and strength, a big deal. So what does he do great? So in my opinion, obviously you can't teach 6'5", 200 pounds. You can't teach it, especially as a junior in high school. He could even be 6'6", You start to look at him and think, you get any bigger, you may want to put him at tight end, but and you may already want to. If he's legit 6'5", you just tell the kid, hey, gain 50 pounds and we'll just put you in tight end. It happens all the time. Wide receivers come in that played wide receiver in high school. You put 50 pounds on him, you play at tight end spot. But yeah, he's got the ideal build for an outside receiver as well, if that's what you want to do with him. I think he uses his height to outmuscle kids in jump ball situations, different things. He wins contested catches quite a bit on tape. Like Keenan said, it's his job to get open, and he does do that well. And he is crafty. He uses certain feints and techniques to get himself open, which you'll see on tape. He's got really good hands and really good ball skills too. Tracking the ball and catching the ball are very underrated things when it comes to evaluating wide receivers. He does both extremely well. By the way, he's got a Division I quarterback throwing him the ball and Moody. I don't think he'll go to West Virginia or anywhere because I think he's a 25 kid. Maybe he already committed somewhere, but he'll go whether that's FBS like Group of Five or FCS or somewhere there. But he's good enough to play at that level for sure. He's got a one hell. You'll see on the tape. He's got a hell of a quarterback throwing in the ball in high school. So obviously the production is insane. He's 74 catches for 1,500 yards and 18 touchdowns. That's like All-American status. 21.5 yards per catch. That's a deep threat. And you'll see it on tape. He gets behind people. He splits corners. He splits safeties. He's always back there. And I'm going to be interested to see where he lines up in these formations and stuff like that. So I think his overall best ability is he's able to leverage his size against people and create mismatches. Like when he's at his peak, he is leveraging himself up against somebody to make a catch. Like it's just what he does well. Hot piss meter is this one might surprise some people, but for those that are just hearing what the hot piss meter is, I like to explain it in every episode we break it out. It's a way to judge, and from my vantage point, players that we recruit or in the transfer portal. We do 5 categories, 0 out of 10. We use decimals, and we add them up at the end to see what we got. Anything over 43, I consider to be very good to elite. You get up over 45, I'm expecting huge things from you, and then beyond, and so on and so forth. So, size and physicality is a category I'm going to use here for this wide receiver, and I gave him a 9.2 out of 10. He's 6'5", 200 pounds, and that frame is a major asset, giving him the edge in contested catch situations. And he has the potential to dominate smaller defensive backs. I think his ability to high point the ball and use his body, he uses it so effectively. You'll see. And I think he, obviously I didn't give him a perfect 10 because he needs to add muscle. Like there are certain things he needs to do, obviously, but you can't get much better than 6'5". At wide receiver. It's like the Holy Grail if you can get it at an elite level. Route running and separation is 8.8 out of 10. If you look at him on tape, He is crafty, and he does get behind people a lot, evidenced by his 21 yards per catch. He's constantly wide open, and his quarterback throws him open a lot too, who doesn't get enough credit, at least over what I've read. So his ability to vary tempo in his run and his gait, he may start out slow and he'll pick up the pace. He'll slow down. He'll do different things to try to get behind people. Crafty, like we said. Hands and ball skills are 8.9 out of 10. Man, he's reliable with the contested catches, doing things. And if you look at him like in the 7-on-7 performances, really good. And then he had that 74 catch season. And he does track the ball well and really ever drops a pass. So, I mean, he's very, very good there. Program fit and opportunity. I think this is a good one because I think he feels a critical need for 2026, especially with several seniors set to head out after 25. So he's an in-state kid. I always add a point for that. And he said it's his lifelong dream to play for the Mountaineers. So that makes him a cultural fit with what Rich Rod wants to do. And then he's already has a relationship with Coach Ryan Garrett and Rich Rod. So that bodes well for his development. So overall, he's a 9 out of 10 program fit. The slight deduction is going to have to come from the uncertainty of how quickly he's going to be a Power 4 player. May take a year, maybe take 2. I don't know. Upside and development potential, I've gave that a 7.7 out of 10. His size, he's got production, he's got athleticism. And so as he refines his game under West Virginia's coaching staff, I think he's going to only get better. But, obviously, I don't know what I expect from him yet. I really don't. I think at the end of the day, he could be anything from a number 3 guy, number 3 wide receiver to a number 1. And it's really all going to be on him. But I gave him a total score of 43.6 out of 50. And I think that reflects a score of immense potential as a big 6'5" receiver who's skilled and that can really run. We'll go to break and we'll talk about his tape next. We'll just show you the tape. The proof's in the pudding. A 6'5" receiver that probably runs in the 4.5 range is very dangerous. And we're going to talk about him next on tape. Stick around. And this episode of Locked On West Virginia is going to be brought to you by none other than Game Time. And when it comes to Game Time, guys, what do we say about them every single time? They're doing it big. They love to do it big. And, right now, new customers can get $20 off their first year when you do Game Time. All you have to do is get the Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONCollege for 50% off your first purchase. That's right. I said it. Download the app, create an account, and use the code LOCKEDONCOLLEGE for $20 off your first purchase. If you've ever decided at the last minute to head to a ball game with friends and family, maybe today's that day when it's game day and suddenly you realize you want to be in the stands. That's where Game Time is going to come in. It's the easiest way to grab last-minute tickets without the stress of it. Create an app, download the Game Time app today with last-minute tickets, lowest prices, and that's guaranteed. And you're going to answer yourself the question of all questions. What time is it? It's game time. It's segment 2. Can we crack a do? Let's get into this, baby. A little bit of tapage, if you will. So Malachi Thompson is a freaking specimen, man. He really is. Number 1 wide receiver in the state. Randy Moss Award, the whole thing. Let's share a screen and get you over there. So for those of you listening on podcast, I will break this down as best as I can. This kid can really go. Randy Moss Award winner, 2-time first-team All-State with 2,857 receiving yards and 38 touchdowns, 131 receptions in 2 seasons. And as you'll see on tape, here he is, just huge. Look at the size discrepancy. And then you think, oh, okay, so he's big, slow, and lumbering. No, he's not. He's crafty. He does things that a guy his size shouldn't be able to do. And you'll see when he really gets on it, he runs past people. And there's the ability to high point the ball, right? Going up and getting it over top of somebody. Oops, sorry. That's what we call high pointing the ball. Doggone it, that's going to be frustrating. I need a better apparatus. There we go. I got one. Boom. And then you see with the speed to split safeties. At 6'5", you just don't get that a lot. Sorry, guys. I didn't mean to go back this far. So, all right. Boom, right here, on just a little inside post pattern. And he just splits the safeties and is gone to the end zone. So pretty impressive on that play. Look at the route. And it's just a disgusting route. Really disgusting route. It's really the release, not a route. Look at the release here from Malachi Thompson. Very fluid, as you can see, and to the outside, he's gone. Love to see that. Here he is again. And here's another one where he just runs by somebody, just no shot. And I want to point out, too, that quarterback can sling that ball, man. This kid here, Moody, can sling the hell out of the ball for Nitro. Here he is on a bubble, and you'll see here he's got some cutability as well. This isn't as much a strong suit, in my opinion, as just putting him in here and letting him run routes like this. Oh my God, I hadn't seen that one before. What a one-handed catch. Holy shoot. No way. What a catch. You got to put W's in the chat for that, man. Like the video for that. What a catch. Did SportsCenter get this when they did this? Look at that DB. I mean, he's almost bit in half trying to get a piece of that ball. What a catch, man. Whew. Now that gets you excited. There we go. See what I was telling you guys earlier? Well, I'll get to let the play run through. Nice. See how he is able to, and he's deceptively fast. Once he gets on his horse, he's gone. But, watch him not control tempo, but watch him change his gait. Well, we get to watch this play again. I'm getting used to how far back to go on this one, but watch in this route here. Watch how he changes speeds when he's running. He may go fast, slow down, going really slow, go fast, and he works those in between, right? He's always slowing down, speeding up to try to gain an advantage in the route, to try to get a guy to come off balance. Watch how he does this here. Going slow, boom, and he hits it. And then watch when he catches the ball. He doesn't panic. He just slows down and boom, get off me. No panic. And then he turns on. That's where he turned it on. He really hit fifth gear right here. A 6'5", 200 pounds. This route here, just it's almost like a straight go. But can we just point out the quarterback again? Like, this kid here is so good. I think this kid here would been a perfect Dana Holgerson recruit. If he's got mobility, he'll be a perfect Rich Rod recruit, but they didn't get him for whatever reason. I think he's a 25 guy, so, whatever reason, they didn't want him. There he goes again, 70 yards, 80 yards for the touchdown. I mean, and look how far out in front he is, everybody. Big, long strides. Absolutely will take that. Here he is on this side. Look at the strength. Nice job there. As you can see, nice once again in the contested catch situation. Just too easy. Here we go again. Another contested catch. So this is what I'm talking about. When I watched him on tape earlier, I seen this a few different times. Actually, you see it two different plays in a row right there. But, I mean, this is exactly what I'm talking about. The ball's just thrown up to a place. And watch this guy just get bumped out of the way because of the size disparity. boom, get out of there. It's just not even close. And then the speed to pull away, impressive. Somebody explain to me this. If these recruiting services are so accurate, how does this kid have no score? Ask yourself that question. We all put a lot of stock into, myself included sometimes. If somebody's rated 4 or 5 stars, I'll promote the hell out of it, obviously. Even 3 stars, I feel like these days is pretty good with the way the portal is. But it just, I don't understand how a kid that's 6'5", 200 pounds, that's got almost 3,000 yards receiving and 40 touchdowns, where in West Virginia or not, doesn't even get a 1 star. It's just ridiculous, man. Like, how does somebody not know about this kid yet? They're ranked number 1 in the state. It's not like they're ranked 50th or something like that. He's way down the list. No, they're ranked number 1 and not ranked. It's just an insult. And when we prove over year after year, West Virginia kids come out of the state of West Virginia and play every single year, whether that's basketball or football. That's a pretty route there. And as you can see, like, he's so deceptively fast. He really is. Watch how he just glides behind these guys. He's not moving at the speed of light or anything like that. But, I mean, as you can see, as he turns it on right there, he just keeps on gaining separation. And then he's got the size. Once you get a certain point on him, it's a wrap, buddy. Right here he is again. Jump ball situation. And that took a lot of concentration right there. Somebody jumped in front of him at the very last second. Like, you know what I mean? Like, look where that guy's hands and stuff is. Right in his face. Easy. Nothing major for him. Boom. Really, really slick release off the line. Now, here's one of those plays where at least I can tell. I mean, this is where it hurts to be from West Virginia, in my opinion, a little bit. So, look at this kid that's guarding him. First of all, the size disparity is ridiculous. This kid's probably 5'7", 5'8". Is this Cavill Midland? Like, how do you have 4,000 kids or whatever they have, 3,000, and not have more? I don't know. Maybe I'm judging too harshly, but watch when he runs. I mean, he just runs right by him. It's not even a competition. This kid's on the ground. So I get it. Like, if you want to tell me he's a 3-star player or something, or 2-star even, I could accept that because of the competition level in West Virginia. It's just not great week to week. Now, there are kids in the state that are D1 players that nobody knows about yet, a couple here and there that he's gone against and stuff. But overall, these stats have been padded against pretty bad players if you're talking about Power 4 football, right? I'm not talking about, are they good players on the team or whatever, or are they good players in West Virginia? But overall, like, I'm not trying to argue against myself here. Like, I get it. I understand. Like, West Virginia is not the greatest state for high school ball, and I'm not trying to say it is. But what I am trying to say is, if somebody's 6'5", he's not 6'1", he's not 6 feet, he's not 5'11", he's not Rodney Gallagher size. He's 6'5", 200 pounds, and very obviously runs at least a 4.5. Just those 3 things alone is like, I would give him a star for that. It's kind of silly. Look at this throw. Whoa. I got to be honest. This kid Moody impresses me every time I watch the tape. He's going to be one of them kids too. Like, I don't know what his size or anything is yet. I have to go look. Look at this throw. I mean, he put that thing on a rope. How far did he throw that thing? So he's on his own 25, 26, 27, from the 28 to almost the 30. It's pretty good, though, Yeah, that's not bad. So I mean, he's got a good arm on him for sure. I like him. He was wide open right here. So anyway, this is Malachi Thompson. I wanted to say 5-star receiver, but obviously a man amongst boys here against these West Virginia kids. If I was him, I would still consider, and I hope this doesn't make anybody mad, but I would consider transferring out for my last year. But I mean, you already got West Virginia, so you're good in a sense. Like you don't have to worry about it now if that's where you wanted to go your whole life. But like, had he not gotten West Virginia, I wonder if he was going to transfer out or something. Because I mean, this kid's too good to not be considered, for Power 4. It's just my opinion. Let me know how you guys feel about it. Malachi Thompson, big, athletic, physical, absolutely a dog. I'm happy we got a West Virginia kid to come, and it's so nice to see Rich Rod paying attention to these West Virginia kids that Dana said we couldn't win with. I'm in on a Dana kick today, apparently. We'll go to break really quick. On the other side, man, do we have a really good player that's looking at us between Tennessee, Missouri. Like Javante Smith is one of them kids that you watch on tape and you're like, man, it'll be a great day in Morgantown if we get him. Stick around and find out what he looks like. All right, we are back here, Locked On West Virginia, segment 3. Take a pee. Somebody suggested that earlier. Segment 3, take a pee. Oh, Lord. Paul After Dark. That's right, Raven. All right. It's been 3 nights in a row, Paul After Dark. It's been performing pretty well, too, on the YouTube apps. For off-season, not doing horrible. All right. Javante Smith. An interesting choice. Now, I'll be honest here. I don't have any inside info. I have no idea which way he's leaning. Normally I could at least have an idea. I just haven't. I haven't been involved. And he said the same thing. I mean, I went back and looked. He said pretty much the same thing at every place. And I mean, if you look deep enough, you can kind of find like different things that he's put up and which ways he might be leaning, but it's like at the end of the day you'll drive yourself crazy doing it. I mean, look, he says amazing official visit to Tennessee, thank you whoever and the entire staff. And then look, amazing official visit at West Virginia, thank you Rich Rod West, and the entire staff. Like it's the same verbiage. Amazing official visit at Arkansas. So he's keeping it completely. It's all the same pretty much. Now I haven't seen Missouri's yet. Oh, here it is. Amazing official visit at Missouri. Thank you, blah blah blah, and the entire staff. This boombox is ridiculous, though. How many of you guys are old enough to remember that? Well, that was popular. Here's how old I am. Whenever I was in not kindergarten, grade school, there was a young gay gentleman named Brad who used to love to bring his boombox thing on almost to the yard like I'm still in prison. He used to bring that thing out on the yard, you know what I'm saying? But no, he used to bring it out to the playground, and he would carry it on his shoulder, and he would just dance, and people would follow him around in a line. It was the funniest thing ever. Just that memory, and it was a boombox about that size, like that. It wasn't as nice as that one, but I didn't want to say his last name, but yeah, he was a good kid, So don't know where he's at in the world now, but that just activated a little core memory for me there, I guess. All right. Let's get to the tape here. Javante Smith is a kid, he's the region offensive player of the year, 1,000 yards receiving, 15 touchdowns, 2 kickoff returns, 3 pick sixes, and 5 picks. This kid, I mean, I went and checked him out before the show. This is a dynamic, explosive athlete that I don't think you can overstate just how explosive he is. Like, this is the kind of player that if we can land, absolutely we'll be getting back to what we had before and possibly more with Rich Rod, because I think we're recruiting Rich Rod. I've heard him say on a couple, like he's recruiting at a higher level than he did the first time at West Virginia for sure. 6'1", 175 pounds, and a dynamic athlete, as you'll see here. He's like, there's a big difference between the player we just watched and him, speed wise, as you'll see, which is hard to believe, but this kid is like not just another level above speed wise. And he's got the cuts, the cut ability, the whole nine, so this would be an amazing pickup. Probably be my favorite portal pickup, including my offensive lineman, if we got this one, because this is a game changer, very obviously. As you can see, lined up outside, he just absolutely smokes everybody going deep. You give it to him in the jet around or anywhere like that, he's cutting people to death. Here he is in a pick six for 100 yards, and once he gets on his horse, it's over. You're not coming close to him. He's got extreme long speed, probably in the 4.4 to possibly 4.3 range on the 40. I would have to go check, but I know he's at least 4.4 range. You can just tell by the top end speed. Once you've seen it enough times, you can tell when a guy's that fast. And I mean, he's got his teammates. Everybody's trying to run with him. They got no shot. This kid can really run, obviously. Well, what is this? A 7-on-7 drill? Or is that looked like 7-on-7 for a second? It had me thrown off. I guess it's the uniform colors, which those helmets are pretty slick. I do like that color. What an explosive athlete here at 6'1", 170 pounds. I could absolutely see that, it would be tempting to play this kid at DB if that's what you so choose. But he's also so skilled on offense that, he's kind of like, is there a kid out there that can do what was done last year? I don't know. It's a good question with Colorado and those boys. So, will there be a player that comes along that can play both sides? I'm not sure. But Javante Smith is on another level for me. I mean, this kid can really, really roll. So, yeah, obviously the competition is stiff. You've got Arkansas, Tennessee, Missouri. So basically you've got 3 SEC teams in West Virginia. So I wish it was 4 SEC teams, but it's not. So we'll see. Not exactly sure. Let's see what this article says, though. So he is from Tennessee. That's what I thought. Jackson, Tennessee. So you got to give Tennessee the benefit of the doubt or the upper hand possibly. But I don't know, man. Recruiting's a crazy game, and it's one of those things where he could end up at West Virginia all because the playing time path is it's just easier, better. So this kid is very interesting for sure. Yeah, he would be a great ad for sure. So let me know what you guys think about this player down in the chat. I appreciate you guys for joining in. This is a good episode. Glad we got the commitment. Glad we got another acquisition in the wide receiver room for next year. Hopefully they continue building it like I did the show yesterday. They want to focus on high school. It's going to be a lot bigger class than, say, what it has been under Neil even. So I think absolutely we have some interesting stuff coming, which is one of the reasons why I've been recruiting so heavily is because that's the way they're going to go. We might get 10 or 15, once we get our groove going. I mean, our first 2 years might be a little heavier on transfers. I'm not sure, but I know for sure at some point we're going to phase into like it used to be, where it's high school recruiting is kind of going to get that bump it deserves. And I get excited about high school recruiting just like I do portal. But the portal's a touch more exciting because, you can see their college stuff and their impact and all that. It's definitely fun. But with the high school ranks, you get to what I like about it is you can actually have your favorites, and you can have guys like in my case that I support publicly, and either they're really going to be good or they won't be good. So we'll see. I'm excited about it. Make sure you like the video before you go. Subscribe if you're new around here. Giving away $50 to the 5,000 subscriber, which we're able to track in YouTube. So if you're ever on X, come over here to YouTube at Locked On West Virginia. Just type in Locked On West Virginia. It's right here on the screen. It's right here. It's right here up on the screen above here. And come holler at us. If and I'll give away $50. I'll absolutely post proof of it, and we'll do it live. So what we'll do is we'll put a randomizer wheel up, and we'll just type. I have one of the mods type all the names into it or something, and then we'll just spin it and see who wins. So that should be fun. We maybe do a couple other prizes as well for that. Haven't decided yet. Depends on a couple factors. As you guys know, I'll be going to Utah for a trip to LaBelle Edwards Stadium to meet the BYU football team here coming up in a couple of weeks. So I've got that going on. They're paying for everything. They're giving me thousands of dollars to come up there and record this stuff. So it's definitely like, I guess it's what they're calling it is like a brand deal or something. So basically, like they pay for your travel up there and all your food while you're there. You get a stipend of like, gas money, hotel money, the whole nine. So if that's what you want to do, you can do it. And I basically have to record the BYU experience for our fans and make a video about it. It's going to be different than any video you've seen me do before. It's going to be pretty much me. We're going to film some of the scenery on the trip, obviously up that way. And it's going to be kind of like a partial travel deal, hopefully culminating in some cool interviews with BYU people. That's the goal. Hopefully they're there that day, or, we're not there on a bad day where they're intense or we can't, they're shutting it down to the media or whatever. But since they have a personal relationship with them at BYU, I have a good feeling that, like they told me, like, we'll get you in there, the bowels of the LaBelle Edwards Stadium to meet everybody. So keep your eyes peeled thinking about that. They paid for my visitor, somebody, or, not my visitor, but a +1 to go with me. So that's really cool. Like, it's just been a huge blessing, guys. One blessing after the other with this job comes. And I don't know how or why this keeps happening to me, but I'll tell you this. I'm not going to be ungrateful in the moment for it. I'm going to savor it. And I'm not trying to brag or anything like that. I'm just grateful for everything that I've been given, because I was on death's doorstep, as I showed you guys before. And so a lot of times, I try to stay away from it because I don't want to run anybody off. I know they're here for only sports, but it's so important to me to carry this message to the still sick and suffering addict or alcoholic, or whatever addiction you have. I think it's very important to note that you can overcome those things and absolutely be in a situation like mine where, 5 years ago, whenever I got started, I had nothing. And now I have my own house, my own vehicle. I have my own everything, right? I live alone. I support myself. For somebody that's down like I was, that's a lot. So appreciate you guys for joining in tonight. Hope you guys had a good time, and I'll see you tomorrow. I'm tired. I've been at it all day. The sun really got to me. I'm starting to fade a little bit here, so I'm going to jump off here, guys, but I will see you all tomorrow when we record again. Who knows what it'll be about, but we'll figure it out then. Until then, I'm out.